Everyone thinks Doctor Doom is the villain of Avengers Doomsday. He isn't. Watch the trailer again. Thor isn't afraid of a man. He's afraid of the end of reality itself, and it's already happening whether Doom shows up or not. Every frame of the Avengers Doomsday trailer has been dissected for one reason: to figure out what Thor is so afraid of. He's praying to old gods. He's calling every hero he's ever fought beside back to the field. And the assumption everyone has made is the same. He's afraid of Doctor Doom. That assumption is wrong. Or at least, it's incomplete. To understand what's actually terrifying Thor, you have to go back to the comic book event. This film is built on Secret Wars, the 2015 Jonathan Hickman-written crossover that quietly reshaped the entire Marvel multiverse. Before Secret Wars even begins, there's a sprawling, roughly 8,000-page runway of story across titles like New Avengers and Avengers that exists purely to explain why the war happens in the first place. And that runway, not the war itself, is what Avengers Doomsday is actually adapting. Here's how it starts in the comics. T'Challa the Black Panther and King of Wakanda witnesses something no one is supposed to see: a second Earth appearing directly across from his own. This is called an incursion. In Marvel's cosmology, an incursion is what happens when two parallel Earths from different universes begin drifting toward each other in the space between realities. When they finally meet, only one can survive. The catch is brutal because the collision point is centered on Earth itself. Only people standing in the exact right location at the exact right moment can even perceive it happening. T'Challa happens to be in that spot. Before he can act, operatives arrive and destroy the opposing Earth outright. He captures one of them, and instead of calling the Avengers, he calls the Illuminati. The Illuminati are a separate, secretive council built from the Avengers' own inner circle: Reed Richards, Charles Xavier, Doctor Strange, T'Challa, Captain America, Tony Stark, Black Bolt. The logic behind the group is simple and uncomfortable. Avengers are heroes first. They hesitate before crossing moral lines. The Illuminati exist for the situations where hesitation isn't an option, where protecting the world means making a call no hero should have to make publicly. They safeguard secrets too dangerous for the wider world to know. And incursions are exactly that kind of secret. Because an incursion isn't a villain you can punch. It's a choice. Do nothing, and your Earth might collapse on its own, with a small chance of survival. Or travel to the other Earth and destroy it first, guaranteeing yours lives. On paper, saving your own world sounds like an easy call. In practice, it means committing genocide against an entire population to save your own. That's not a decision supervillains struggle with. It's one heroes are never supposed to have to make. In the comics, that moment arrives when the Illuminati acquire the Infinity Stones and use them to seal off an incursion, saving Earth. But right after, Captain America Steve Rogers realizes what they're actually proposing going forward: systematically destroying other Earths to save their own. He refuses. He tells the group flatly that he won't be part of it and won't allow it to continue. Their response is to have Doctor Strange wipe his memory of the entire plan. Not the whole Illuminati. Just his knowledge of incursions, multiversal collapse, and everything the group is planning to do about it. That erased knowledge, that impossible choice, and the group forced to make it, that is what Avengers Doomsday is actually built around. Not Doctor Doom. Incursions. Doom doesn't throw a punch and end the story. He can't. Because the real antagonist here isn't a person at all. It's a phenomenon nobody in the film can outfight. It doesn't monologue. It doesn't have a face. But psychologically, it does something worse than any villain could. It turns heroes against each other. As pressure mounts and the moral lines blur, the film's lineup starts fracturing from the inside. Listen to Thor's trailer speech again with this in mind. He talks about facing huge threats before. He talks about friends who died facing them. And then he says that if everyone doesn't unite for what's coming, nothing else will matter. But if they do stand together, they'll come back as brothers and sisters. That's not a speech about beating one villain. That's a unity speech for surviving an extinction event only teamwork can solve. It lines up with Incursions, not Doom. The trailer backs this up directly. It shows 3 separate Earths converging on a single point. One belongs to the Fantastic Four. One is the mainline Avengers Earth, designated Earth 616 in the comics. The third belongs to this film's X-Men. The Fantastic Four and the Avengers have already crossed paths and are working the problem together. The X-Men reality is the volatile one. Early in the trailer, Charles Xavier watches a planet explode from his window that's his X-Men's Earth, on the other side of an incursion, actively destroying an opposing world to survive. These X-Men have already made the harder choice. They've already crossed the line the Illuminati and the comics were terrified of crossing. That makes them, functionally, the film's antagonists not out of malice but out of having already done what the Avengers haven't been forced to do yet. Add the Thunderbolts into that mix, and the tension multiplies. The Thunderbolts, introduced in their own 2025 film, are a team of morally gray former villains and Black Ops operatives who spent most of their existence working as mercenaries before edging toward heroism. They're new to being trusted, still building their public image, and still capable of snapping under pressure. Put them in a room with X-Men who have already committed to planetary-scale violence. Add a ticking clock threat to reality itself, and conflict is inevitable. In the trailer, Reed Richards brings a hologram into the X-Men's universe, most likely showing them a potential solution. But before diplomacy can land, tensions spike. Yelena Belova draws a weapon, and the meeting collapses into a full-blown fight. Hulk ends up trading blows with this universe's Superman analog, a hero named Sun God, in a world built as this film's parody tribute to DC's Justice League, complete with a Batman-styled character named Wayne and a speedster called Bolt. Doctor Strange even unleashes a spell so powerful even he can't fully control it, and the resulting battle costs lives, but doesn't stop the incursion, because the incursion was never a fight that could be won with force, which brings the Illuminati, and by extension, the Avengers, to the one option left: detonating an anti-gravity bomb to destroy the opposing Earth outright before it destroys theirs. T'Challa takes the detonator. His hand shakes. He freezes, unable to complete the act, and that's when Namor, ruler of Atlantis, takes it from him and finishes it. An entire Earth is erased. T'Challa's fury afterward isn't just grief, it's the collision of an already fraying alliance. In the comics, Wakanda and Atlantis had already gone to war with each other once before this point, and that old wound tears open the moment Namor pulls the trigger without hesitation. This is where Doom re-enters the picture not as the instigator, but as someone who already understands what's causing the incursions, and has decided the Illuminati's approach is doomed to fail. In the source material, cosmic entities called the Beyonders are running something close to an experiment. They want to see what happens if every reality in the multiverse is destroyed simultaneously. Their method is to plant a living bomb, a version of the reality-warping being called Molecule Man, inside every universe. Doom learns of the plan and starts hunting down and killing each universe's Molecule Man to stop the detonations before they trigger. But killing a Molecule Man erases that universe entirely, leaving a void, and that void is exactly what pulls two remaining Earths into an incursion with each other. In effect, Doom's own attempt to stop the Beyonders is what sets off the very crisis the Illuminati are fighting. Eventually, Doom realizes his one universe at a time approach can't outpace the collapse. So instead of killing each Molecule Man, he starts collecting them, using one of them to absorb the Beyonders' own power once he detonates a weapon directly against them. With the Beyonders destroyed and their cosmic energy funneled through Molecule Man, Doom builds something entirely new out of the wreckage of a dying multiverse. His own world, on his own terms, with himself as its sole architect. That is very likely the shape of Doom's real arc in this film. Not a straightforward villain trading blows with the Avengers, but a master manipulator who understands the incursion crisis better than anyone in the room, and who has already decided the hero's plan to save everyone is doomed to fail. Expect him already embedded in the story from the start, arriving on Earth aboard the Fantastic Four's own ship, and even helping engineer the alliance between the Avengers and the X-Men's universe. While the other heroes are trying to resolve the conflict and stop the incursions, Doom's motivation is something else entirely. He already knows the crisis can't be stopped the way they're attempting it, because he's the one who, in this telling, may end up causing it. So when the title card reads Avengers Doomsday, Don't assume that means a straightforward hero versus villain showdown the way Infinity War did with Thanos. Doom is central to this story. The title makes that much obvious. But he isn't the threat everyone needs to punch their way past. The actual threat is Incursions, an unstoppable, faceless collapse of reality that turns heroes against heroes long before anyone gets near Doom himself. And that reframes everything else worth watching for why Thor and Doom appear to be on a direct collision course, what role Steve Rogers and Loki end up playing once the dust settles, and how a threat with no face and no dialogue somehow becomes the most dangerous thing this cast of heroes has ever faced. If this theory holds up, Dr. Doom isn't the finish line, he's the twist. And that changes how you should be watching every second of footage Marvel puts out between now and December. If you want the full breakdown of exactly how Doom builds his own world out of the ashes of the multiverse, that's coming in a future video. It's too big to rush, so don't go anywhere. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one.